Teal Mask Ogerpon EX just came out of Twilight Masquerade, and if you pair it with Raging Bolt, it makes an insane deck. So in this video, we're gonna go over the deck list, explanation of all the cards, and I'm gonna show you guys the test hand as well. Timestamp will be down below. Let's start off with the deck list. For the Pokemon, you have 4 Raging Bolt EX, 3 Teal Mask Ogerpon EX, 1 Shiny Shock EX, 1 Squawkability EX, 1 Flutter Mane, and 1 Radiant Greninja. On to the supporters. We're running 4 Professor Sada Vitality, 2 Ionos, and 2 Boss's Order. On to the items. We have 4 Nest Balls, 1 Ultra Ball, 4 Earthen Vessel, 3 Pokegear, 3 Energy Retrieval, 3 Bravery Charm, 2 Bug Catching Set, 2 Switch Cards, 1 Enhanced Hammer, 1 Super Rod, 1 Pal Pad, and for the A-Spec, we're running a Secret Box. For the Stadium, we're running 2 Pokestop. On to the energies. 7 Grass Energy, 3 Lightning, and 3 Fighting. And here's the overview of the deck list. Now let's talk about every single card and why it's there. Raging Bolt EX is your main attacker. We mainly use him for his second attack, Bellowing Thunder. It does 70 damage for each basic energy discarded from your Pokemon. And yes, that is any energy attached to all your Pokemon. It's rare, but sometimes we do use his first attack. That lets you discard your hand and draw 6. Next, we have the new Teal Mask Ogerpon EX. This Pokemon has the ability that lets you attach a grass energy from your hand to this Pokemon and lets you draw a card. The effect is only once per turn, but you can use multiple Ogerpons. And this is why it's so good with Raging Bolt EX. With all the grass energy that you accelerated with, you can discard it to attack with Raging Bolt. His attack is also not that bad. For 3 grass energy, the attack does 30 damage plus 30 more for each energy attached to both active Pokemon. It's a grass type, so it's not a bad attacker against Charizard EX or even Roaring Moon EX. Basically any dark Pokemon. Next, we have Shiny Shock EX. This card has abilities similar to the grass Ogerpon, except you can't use the effect until your opponent has 4 or less prize cards. But it lets you attach a fighting energy from your discard pile to this Pokemon. So it's more ways to attach energy so your Raging Bolt can do more damage. We're only running one of this because the effect is not as good as the grass Ogerpon. But since it's the ancient Pokemon, you can pair it with Professor Vitality to accelerate more energy. But we'll talk about this later. Next, we have Squawkability EX. This card is only in here for the effect. Once during your first turn, you may discard your hand and draw 6. When you're going first and your hand is horrible, this is why it's there. It lets you discard your whole hand and have a fresh start. Next, we have Radiant Greninja. Radiant Greninja is only there for this ability, which will let you discard energy and draw 2. It's also a good way to get energy into your discard pile. It's a good card to get energy into the discard pile so you can use Professor Sada Vitality. And lastly, for the Pokemon, we have Flutter Mane. This card is also mainly used for his ability, which state as long as this Pokemon is in the active spot, your opponent's active Pokemon has no ability except for the Midnight Flutter Mane. It's good to counter Lost Box. Now let's talk about the supporter. The main support that we'll be using is Professor Sada Vitality. This card lets you choose 2 of your ancient Pokemon and attach a basic energy from your discard pile. This is the main support of the deck because you can accelerate energy to your Raging Bolt EX. Iono is there to disrupt your opponent and draw more cards. Boss's Order is there to switch one of your opponent's bench Pokemon with their active. On to the items. Nest Ball and Ultra Ball is there to help search for your Pokemon. Since all your Pokemon is basic, we're running 4 Nest Balls. And the 1 Ultra Ball is there so that you can discard your energies. Because without energy in your discard pile, you cannot use Professor Sada Vitality. Earthen Vessel is there to search for your energy. And since you need to discard 1 card, this is also a good card to get energy into the discard pile. Pokegear lets you look at the top 7 cards of your deck and choose 1 supporter card. Like I said, most of the time you really want to use Professor Sada Vitality. So Pokegear is a good way to find the card. Energy Retrieval is there to get energies from your discard pile back into your hand. Since Raging Bolt EX second attack requires you to discard energies, this card is there to help you bring it back. And a little tip, you can get back your grass energy so you can use Ogerpon's ability. Bravery Charm is there to make your Pokemon beefier, basically making it harder for your opponent to knock out your Pokemon. Bug Catching Set. This card just came out and is really good. You look at the top 7 cards of your deck, and you can choose 2 in any combination of grass Pokemon and grass energy and put it into your hand. Perfect way to get the Grass Ogerpon or even the Grass Energy to use Grass Ogerpon's ability. Switch Card is there to switch your active Pokemon to the bench. It also heals 30 damage to the active Pokemon. Enhanced Hammer lets you discard special energies from one of your opponent's Pokemon. With the new Legacy energy out, this is a really good card to get rid of it. Or even energies like gifts so your opponent don't draw anymore. Super Rod is there to recycle your Pokemon and energy. Pal Pad is there to recycle your supporters. Once again, Professor Sada Vitality is really important in this deck, so you want to recycle that or even Iono or Bosses. And lastly for the item, we have our A-Spec Secret Box. You can use this card if you discard 3 other cards from your hand. It lets you search your deck for an item card, a tool, a supporter, and a stadium. I think this card works really well with this deck. You can discard cards like your energies. That way you can search out an item card that you need, your Bravery Charm, a supporter which most likely will be Professor Sada Vitality, and a stadium which is your Pokestop. Speaking of stadium, we're running 2 Pokestops. This card lets you discard the top 3 cards of your deck, and if any of the cards are item, you can add it to your hand. Majority of the cards in your deck is item, so this is a really good card. If you guys have any questions about this deck, please let me know in the comments. Let's go over some test hands. Let's start off by shuffling our deck. Then we offer our opponent to cut our deck. We draw 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Look, we have a basic Pokemon, which is the Grass Ogerpon. Then we do our prize card, which is 6. Alright, we start our game. We have the Grass Ogerpon in hand. For this one, let's pretend that we're going first. So let's draw our card. Going first, we cannot use a supporter. So with this hand, I would probably use Earthen Vessel to discard a Enhanced Slammer. And I would probably get out a Grass Energy so that we can draw with the Grass Pokemon. And either a Lightning or a Fighting. So we'll do that. Shuffle our hand. I shuffle our deck. Offer your opponent to cut again. Give an example. I would use Ultra Ball to get rid of your Lightning Energy, so that way you can use Professor Vitality later. And we can get rid of one Pokegear. I draw my card. Please stand by. And you can either get Squawk. Let's see if we can have the Squawk to draw more cards, or we can get a Raging Bolt. But in my opinion, we should probably get the Squawk so that way we can see more cards. So I will get the Squawk. Shuffle our hand. Offer your opponent to cut. And we cut. Place down the Squawk. We use Grass Ogerpon to draw one. We got a Fighting Energy, that is perfect. Then I would attach the Bravery Charm, so that way your Ogerpon is beefier. And then we use Squawk's ability to get rid of our whole hand. And you draw 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is really good. We put down Raging Bolt EX. We would then put a charm on this Raging Bolt. Let's just put down a second one, just in case your opponent somehow is able to knock one of them out. And then we have Bug Catching Set, which we look at the top 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And we're able to get any combination of Grass Energy or Grass Pokemon up to 2. So we choose the Grass Energy, which you have to show your opponent. And then you shuffle the deck. Shuffle, 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 shuffle. One more shuffle. And then ask your opponent to cut or tap. Now we have a lot of Grass Energy in our hand, and that is it for your turn. Now let's try that again, but except this time we're going second. Once again, we shuffle our deck. Ask your opponent to cut. We draw our 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Make sure we have a basic Pokemon. Once again, we are starting with the Grass Ogerpon, which is not bad at all because we have Grass Energy in our hand. Set up our 6 prize. And then we start the game. We'll draw for 1. We have multiple Nest Balls in our hand. And this is going second, so let's go with activating the 2 double Nest Ball to get Pokemon from your deck onto the field. I think here we are good to Squawk. Maybe not. I think it's for sure we get 1 Raging Bolt EX. And then I think the second one could be a Radiant Greninja if it is not prized. Radiant Greninja. Place that down. I think the main reason why I do not want to Squawk here is because we're only running 1 Super Rod, I believe. So we do not want to get rid of that at all. So we will place these 2 down. Let's start shuffling the hand. The deck. Keep messing that up. Shuffle, shuffle. Once again, ask your opponent to cut. They will cut for you. Then we will use the Grass Ogerpon's ability to attach 1 grass from your hand to draw 1. Earthen Vessel, that is perfect because we could use it to Earthen Vessel one of your Grass Energy away to thin out your deck, plus get more energy. So right now we really need to get Lightning and Fighting, so that way we could potentially power up our Raging Bolt EX. So we get 1 Lightning, 1 Fighting. And at the moment, we're searching for Professor Sada Vitality, if we can. If we are able to do that, we are most likely able to attack first turn going second. So we shuffle again. Let's offer your opponent to cut. And now we use one of the energies to use Radiant Greninja's ability to discard 1 to draw 2. That's 1, 2. We got a Nest Ball, which is pretty good. Let's do Nest Ball so that way we can draw more by getting a Grass Ogerpon out. But we also need another grass energy. So let's just get rid of this Bravery Charm, because we really need the fighting just so that when we Sada, we have a energy in hand. So let's do another lightning because we have fighting in hand already. And the grass is to use the second Grass Ogerpon's ability to draw more. So we really need to hit a Pokegear or Professor Sada if we want to attack. So let's offer our opponent to cut again. Then we use Grass Ogerpon's ability to draw 1 by attaching 1 grass. And we got an Ultra Ball. So at this moment, we did not Squawk yet. So I think that's what I have to do. I know we don't want to get rid of Super Rod, but we're going to Ultra Ball these cards away. It doesn't matter because we're going to Squawk anyways. So let's find that Squawk ability EX. Place that down. Shuffle again. And then we will offer our opponent to cut or tap. And then before we Squawk, we want to attach one of these energies into that Raging Bolt EX so that we can potentially attack. So now we use the abilities to Squawk and Seize. Discard your whole hand, draw 6. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And right now, that is looking not the worst and not the best. Because we do have Pokestop, which we will most likely use if we're really trying to play aggressive. So we'll activate the Pokestop. That'll be 1, 2, 3, which we get Pokegear and Energy Retrieval. Really good cards, because right now, our deck is super thin. Let's see if we can thin it out even more. Let's get another Raging Bolt EX out. That way, your deck is even thinner, so we can, for sure, hopefully, hit our Professor Sadas. Once again, we shuffle, offer our opponent to cut. Move these Pokemon over. And then, now, we will use Pokegear to look at the top 7 cards of your deck. There's the Sada. We don't even need to look at the rest. So we shuffle our deck again. Offer our opponent to cut. Now we will activate Professor Sada by targeting these 2 Raging Bolt EX. This one needs a Lightning. And then this one, it could go either way. So let's just do a Lightning on this one. And now we can attach our charm that we have in our hand. And then all we can do now is retreat the Ogerpon, since it only has 1 retreat cost, to our attacking Raging Bolt EX. And depending on what your opponent's attacking Pokemon has, that's how many energy you would discard. You have a total of 4 right now. You can do a total of 280. Or let's say it's only like 50 HP. You would just discard the 1 energy from the Grass Ogerpon. And that is it for your turn. If you guys enjoyed these deck guides, please stay tuned for more. But in the meantime, check out my other videos right over here. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you give this video a thumbs up. And if you're new here, please hit that subscribe button. Thank you.